Well, hello once again, and welcome back to Justin's Joint, where we're just gonna go over a bunch of random nonsense. Alright, guys, welcome back to the Joint. This video might end up being a fairly long one. I'm really hoping not, but I have a lot to cover here and very little time to do it, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, first things first, we're gonna load up a pipe with some Cornell and Deal Gentleman Collar. This is brand new to me tobacco. I just opened it up literally about 45 seconds ago. And something that I was not expecting. I didn't look at the review or at the component tobaccos for this. I didn't look at the component tobaccos before I bought it. I was just kind of, perusing through, trying to pick things that I never had, and obviously I've never had this one. So I popped it open, and I was immediately hit with that sweet, meadowy smell that I got from Crooner. And I thought to myself, this one probably has some deer tongue in it. So I popped the old paper out and read the description here, and sure enough, there is deer tongue in this one. And I don't know if you can see that. There's little green chunks in there, which is deer tongue. So I'm actually pretty excited about this. Crooner wasn't exactly my favorite at first. Once I got used to it, or once I, wrapped my head around actually what it was and let the tobacco be the tobacco, it was fine. This one here, maybe I should do that right away, is a blend of Virginias and Burleys with a dash of deer tongue for a vanilla-like sweetness. Smidge of Perique. So Virginia, Burley, deer tongue, Perique. I mean, I definitely get the deer. You can smell the deer tongue. Since I've had the other deer tongue blend, I know exactly that's what that is. So I'll be loading that up in my Frankenpipe. I haven't smoked this guy in forever. This is the pipe with my 3D printed stem. Right now I have the gold one on. I've got a red one and a black one and a green one. The gold just looks better with the brown in the pipe. So we're going to just load this up. Let's do this. Alright, so here we are. We've got the tobacco, you can see. And as you can see, my watch box is sitting here, which will be the next subject or topic of conversation here. My watch collection, or my watch collecting, rather, has gotten rather out of hand. But it's something that I have found quite enjoyable, because everybody else and their dog wears a smartwatch these days. Everybody and their dog mostly wears an Apple Watch. I do see quite a bit of Fitbits and Garmin's, but I mean, everybody's got one, and I like to be different. So that's just what we do here in Justin's Joint. Let's test the draw. Yeah, that had some tobacco coming up through the stem, but I think we're doing... Let's give it just a little bit more. And as you will notice, I am using the old geezer grab and stuff method. Just shove your finger right down in the pipe. Just boosh, boosh, boosh. Anyway. Still getting all the tobacco out of my mouth. All right. Let's test the draw one more time. Good to go. All right, folks, it's time to find the lighter. Okay, let's light it up, and then let's go over some watches, because this has kind of gotten out of hand. But it's an out of hand that's kind of fun, honestly. that's a very nice tobacco. Very nice tobacco. I was interrupted just a second ago as I was lighting this, so I had to go upstairs, deal with something. And then as I came back down, I got a whiff of the room note of this stuff, which the room note is absolutely fantastic. I will tell you that right now. I mean, I can even get some of it even right now, since just after setting the pipe down. That's a very nice tobacco. Totally my first impressions. I need to go through this before I give it a proper review, or a proper... No, I don't do reviews. Just a proper whatever it is that I do. Anyway, the subject of this video is, many of you, I'm sure, are sophisticated gentlemen. Obviously, the pipe smoker is a more refined, eloquent, sophisticated, high-class type of fella. Anyway, I am proof positive that pipe smokers are not always high-class, eloquent. I'm somewhat of a savage beast, but that's beside the point. I like to pass myself off as a sophisticated gentleman, and because of that, I've started this whole thing of collecting watches. Now, I went from a cheapy watch to a smartwatch, which then I hated because I hated all the buzzing on my wrist. And then I thought, well, I'll just turn that off, but then it's just a watch at that point. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to a real watch. And that's exactly what I've done. Now, my collection, obviously, I've put some videos up of some previous watches that I've purchased. So I'm going to kind of go over those very quickly and then show you basically the rest of my collection. And I've got 10, 12 watches now, if you include the cheapie and the smartwatch, which I never wear anymore. 12 watches, including those two, and none of them was more than a couple of $100, and some of them were less. Most of them, I would say, were less than $100. So it's not like this collection is super expensive, but it's just a very interesting mix, if you would say that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go down the line here of the various watches that I've got now. So the first one that I'm going to show you, this is not in any order. I've kind of just grouped them together. I'm not going to go down the order in which I got them or anything like that. Nothing special. Just, it is what it is. So the first watch that I have, let me wipe it off. It's got fingerprints and crap all over it. I don't make for good YouTube videos, does it? Alright, so here is the first watch that we're going to go over. This is a Timex Weekender, and it's on this nylon olive drab green strap. This is actually a very nice watch for one simple reason. That reason being, there's nothing to it. This is a watch that just runs and runs and runs. It looks great. Even though it's on a NATO style strap, it looks great. I mean, I wear this to work mostly on a Friday if I do wear it to work, but I do wear this on the weekends. This is a great looking watch. The only thing that I'm not entirely certain about, and it doesn't bother me, but it may bother other people, is that the movement in this, it's a quartz movement, is very loud. I'm going to put this up to the microphone just see if you can get a load of it. I don't know if you could catch that with the tick-tocking of the clock running in the background. But this one, I ordered off of Amazon, and this watch here goes for about $31.46 right now. I think I paid about $30 for it. But the nice thing about this watch is that it comes in various different styles of straps, different face colors. You can get it all kinds of blingy if you want it, and it's nice. And the other thing that I like about it is you can't see it in the light. It's got the Indiglow feature, so it's really easy to see in the dark. So that's watch number 1. We're not going to go over any specs or any sizes or anything like that. Oh, maybe what I will do for each watch, show you what it looks. Now, my wrist is a 6.5 inch circumference, so keep that in mind as you see these on my wrist here. So here is this watch on my wrist. Timex Weekender. This is a great watch, super simple, and I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead, strap this back down to the pillow. Set that guy back in the case. Now, the watch number 2 is also a Timex. This is a Timex Expedition. Now, this one here is the one, this one only has a date complication. Sometimes you can get a Timex Expedition chronograph version. This one is not that. This one, I found this at Target. It was on clearance for like 40 bucks, which is actually a couple dollars more than what you can get it on Amazon for, but it was there. It looks really nice and refined. It's very simple looking. Again, I like it. It's Timex. It's kind of like the Weekender, only it's a little bit more upscale, a little bit more fancy. This one here has a little bit of a nicer strap. Let me just pull this guy off of here. So the Weekender was on a NATO style strap. This one actually is on just a regular watch strap. Again, it's kind of a dark olive green color, but it kind of plays off of the black face and the yellow second hand really nicely. I really like the way that second hand looks. It's kind of looks like the arrow. But then again, this one also has Indiglow. Not as easy to see unless it's really dark, because you know when you light up the Indiglow in the dark, you get the kind of bluish green background and the numbers are black. If it's not pitch black dark, sometimes it's a little bit hard to see that. But all in all, not a deal breaker for me. I wear the crap out of this watch. This is an awesome watch. This is probably one of my more recent acquisitions. It's not the latest, but it is more recent, so I haven't worn it as much. Oh, let's throw it on the wrist here. Just have a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so here is the Timex Expedition on my 6.5 inch wrist. And as you can see, it's not too big, not too terribly small, fits nicely, and it looks really great. Next watch on the list, as we put this back on the pillow, we are going to switch over to some cheap watches, other cheap watches. Timex watches are not super expensive. As I said, I paid, I think, 40 bucks for this. If we look on Amazon, this guy right here is running for $37.05. Prices vary, but again, this guy here has all kinds of different colors. This is kind of what I like about Timex. You could get basically any color you want, any combination of watch strap that you want. It's all there. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Timex. All right, so here is the next one. We've got the Casio DataBank, the good old calculator watch here. Now, this one on Amazon currently is running for $19.95. So this is basically one of the cheaper watches that you can get. And the beauty about this watch is in the fact that it's cheap and that not very many other people really wear these. And you know, these watches have been featured in so many things on TV. You know, I've seen this on Back to the Future. Marty McFly wore one. I've seen this on Breaking Bad. Walter White wears one of these. You know, I've seen this numerous places, and as a kid, I always wanted one of these watches. I really always wanted one of these watches, and I never had one until now. And so I'm really stoked and excited. I don't wear it as often, probably, as I should. That's just because there's a guy at work that has one, and I don't want to be the guy that shows up wearing the same watch. So, next on the list is the Casio F-91W. Now, you can't have a watch. You'll hear people say this, and I know it sounds cliche. You can't have a watch collection without a Casio F-91W. Now, I have actually, the reason that I bought this watch is not because people say you can't have a watch collection without a Casio F-91W. I bought this because this was the first watch that I really wore as a child. I had one of these when I was a kid. This is not the same one. I recently purchased this one. This one on Amazon goes for $10.95. So this is a super cheap watch. But it is so functional. And, you know, I've got a 6.5-inch wrist. It's a little bit on the small side. And I know when I was a kid, the reason that the one thing I didn't like about it when I was a kid was that, you know, all my friends and all the other guys at school, they had really huge, you know, honking massive watches. And here I was with a Casio F-91W that wasn't very big. Now, thing about it is, I still wore it because it was super functional. It had an hour chime, it had an alarm, it had a stopwatch. I used all that stuff. It had a light in it. It had all that stuff, and I like it. I liked it at the time enough to wear it, you know, as a young boy. You know, sometimes you don't really think that things are nice or to your perfect liking. However, now that I've grown, I have a soft spot in my heart for this particular watch, which is the main reason that I have it in my collection. That was back in that had to have been the early 90s when I was wearing this watch. And I think my brother must have had one too. But this watch here, you can't go wrong for $11. Alright, so the next one is another Casio. Yeah, we're on a Casio kick here. This is a SGW-100. Now, I got an Amazon gift card for Christmas for $50. And I decided I was going to go look at some watches because it's kind of what I'm into right now. And this one kind of ticked all the boxes because it was an interesting watch. It was, let's see, $35. And the nice thing about this watch is it has a compass built into it, and it also has a thermometer. So you can press this button, and it'll give you the orange button. You press the orange button. Well, here we go. You press the orange button, it'll give you a compass reading, and it'll also give you the temperature readout. Now, the one thing that I have noticed that I don't like about this watch is something that you probably noticed right now. It's kind of hard to read. Rather than being like this one and has the gray background with black numbers, this has a black background with gray numbers. So I don't even know that you can see the numbers on the screen right now. There you can kind of sort of see it. It's got a light in the back. Here it is. Let's see if I can. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that very well. It's got a backlit display, so you can see it in the dark. And actually, it's much easier to see in the dark with the light lit up than it is to read it sometimes in low light, or just glancing at it during the day. But not enough of a deterrent to make me not like it. I really do like this watch. This is probably the watch that I've worn Probably the most since I got it, just because the compass feature is so interesting. You know, and it's not dressy at all. However, just, you know, having a compass feature and being able to poke that button and get a temperature readout is pretty cool without having to pull my phone out of my pocket, and it gives me a readout of, you know, the area exactly where I'm standing, which is kind of cool. So I really do like this watch. This is definitely a keeper in the collection. Moving right along, this is the last Casio that we will be looking at today. This is a Casio MQ24. Now, this watch is actually pretty small. Oh, you know what? I didn't throw this on my wrist. We got to backtrack just a little bit. Got to follow through. Throw this guy on the wrist here. And lock it down, Justin. Lock it down. Come on, man. There we go. Now you can see the SGW-100 on my 6.5-inch wrist. There you go. As I get the case of the burps, I am very sorry about that. Okay, strap this guy back down and put it away. Okay, the MQ24, this is a very simple watch. No date, just time, that's it. But it's got the same, almost the same kind of looking black strap. It's like a plastic type of a resin strap. It's got the same resin body as the F-91W. This watch here on Amazon was only $11.95. So another really cheap watch. And, you know, it's cheap, but it is somewhat elegant in the fact that, you know, it's got the black background with the gold hands and the gold tick marks around the outside. So, you know, it's a very, I don't know, it's simple and it's inexpensive. And this is the kind of watch you are not very likely to see very many other people wearing. You're not likely to walk down the street and see anybody wearing one of these, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of cool. This is actually probably on just a little bit tight. Let me take that down one notch. There we go. Okay, so here's what the MQ24 looks like on my wrist. Again, it's kind of a small watch, but, you know, this one's been getting some pretty regular rotation in my daily watch wearing. Can't go wrong with all these cheap watches. You don't have to have a Rolex or a Breitling to have a watch collection. I've learned that. Okay, now we're going to move on to some of the more expensive watches that I have. The next one actually is probably my favorite watch that I own right now, and that is the Seiko SKX-009 with the Pepsi dial. It's not running right now because I haven't worn it in a couple days, but we'll just give it a shake. And I just shook it real quick, and that's all it took to get this thing going. The movement in this is not, I think, super accurate in terms of, you know, just comparison to other modern watches. I think the movement in this is actually one of Seiko's older movements, and I think that's part of the reason why they discontinued the SKX line. However, that being said, this is a great watch. I really like this watch. It looks nice. It functions great. It's got the day and the date complication. The lume is absolutely outstanding. The luminescence here, you charge that up and it is really, really super bright. And it, you know, it lasts a little while. It probably lasts about 5 minutes really bright, and then it'll go another several hours just at a very low output. But it, you know, it's enough that it's pitch black. If it's pitch black, like you're wearing it to bed and you wake up at night, you look at your watch, you'll still be able to see it after a couple hours, which is something that I really like. Now this one here is good down to, this is a 200 meter dive watch. Not that I'll ever have it down to 200 meters, but, and I've had this on various other straps, but for some reason, I've managed to find my way back to the strap that it came with. There's really nothing wrong with this strap. It's very beefy, it's very strong, and really it's pretty comfortable, so it's actually higher quality than some of the other straps that I've had on it. So just went back with it. It's just a great looking watch. I mean, you can't go wrong with an SKX. And I'm glad that I bought this. I bought this, I think, basically right before they discontinued it, because, or maybe right after, because it was still pretty readily available on Amazon. But right now on Amazon, you can see that, you know, you got a bunch of different buying options, but the price has gone up because there's not as many of them around. And yeah, I think I only paid like $210 for mine, and now they're running for $250, $260. That's significantly more than what I paid for mine. But, you know, it is what it is. So the next watch that we're going to look at is another Seiko. This is a SNN 241 100-meter chronograph quartz. Now this is a quartz watch. The SKX, obviously, this is an automatic movement. If you don't wear it, it'll go dead unless you shake it. I don't have a watch winder. I don't mind them going dead. I'm okay with that. This one here is a quartz movement, and this is a chronograph, which is kind of cool. This is it's got a nice brown color to the face. I don't know if you can see that, but it matches really nicely with the strap that it came with. And this is a pretty nice strap. It's very, very comfortable. It actually took several days to actually get this broken in. The thing that I noticed when I was wearing it brand new was that, you know, it made clicking sounds as I was wearing it, just because the leather was rubbing up against itself and making weird noises. But I mean, that went away pretty quick. But this one has the same Seiko lume on it that you charge it up and it's super bright, which I really like about this watch. But you know, it's got this, the chronograph functions. Let me see if I can catch this here. You press the start button, and then the chronograph will start running. You got the seconds, and then up here you've got the minute counter. So as it goes around past here, this will click over to a minute. This one goes up to 60 minutes. If you want to, let's see if I can remember how to do this. If you want to stop it at a lap, I think you click here, and then you can jot down the time, and if you click it again, it'll fast forward back to where it was. I got a little spot on there. But again, if you have another lap, you can stop it. Then you click this bottom button again, and it'll fast forward back to the time. So if you stop it, it's not actually stopping the time. It's keeping count. Like, you know, so as I do this, it speeds back up. And then if you notice, once this thing clicks over noon, the little minute hand ticked over to 1, which is kind of cool. So then you stop it and reset it by hitting this, and there you have it. So this is a very nice watch. I mean, this one here might honestly replace the SKX as my favorite watch. Maybe. I think I've probably worn this one more than my SKX lately. Mainly because this one goes very nicely with my work attire. I tend to wear this one to work. It doesn't look as utilitarian. It looks a little bit more dressy. But I also like it in the fact that it still has that utilitarian feature. It's a chronograph. I can time stuff. If I go on a lunch break, I can time it and it'll count me up to, you know, so that I know exactly how long I've been on break or whatever, that kind of a thing. So this is a very nice watch. This one here on Amazon right now is going for about $161. And, you know, I think that's about what I paid for it. I just got this one not that long ago. But this is a great watch. You can't go wrong with this watch. This is a nice one. I really do like this one. Actually, $161. I think that's a little bit more than what I paid for this. I don't think I paid much more than $100 for this. So maybe shop around. I could be wrong. I could be remembering that incorrectly, but this still at $160, I would buy this every day. If that was the going price, I would buy it. All right, so next we have, this is actually the watch that kind of started it all off for me. This is the Orient Sun and Moon version 3. Now, I've had this on several straps. If you've been watching any of my watch videos, you'll know that at first I wasn't too fond of this strap, and I still kind of am not too fond of it. However, the leather quality of this strap is so much better than some of the other crap that you can get out there. And not to mention, the blue of the strap matches perfectly with the blue on the dial. So all that considered, the high quality of the leather and the color, that overtakes the discomfort of this metal piece where it rubs on the bottom of my wrist, right on the inside of here. After a full day of wear, you will start to notice that thing will start to dig. It'll just start to itch a little bit, and then, you know, it's more of just an annoyance than anything. And it only usually happens towards the end of the day. But, you know, all that said, this is a super nice watch. It looks great. I love the sapphire crystal on the top. You know, it's kind of got that domed top. So as you look at it across here, I don't know if you can catch any of that, but it just looks real nice. Now, this is an automatic movement watch. So again, if you don't wear this one, it will wind down. This one has hand winding though, so you can just kind of keep it wound up if you wanted to. I don't really go that crazy with it. I don't mind winding it up and resetting the day and date when I wear it. It's running right now because I've actually been wearing this quite a bit lately. Yeah, this one is probably the dressiest watch I have. So between these two, the Seiko SNN 241 and the Orient Sun and Moon, these are the two that I wear most to work because they just look the best with all the clothes that I tend to wear to work. So let's slap this guy back on the pillow, and we will go to the very last watch in the collection. Last but certainly not least. Obviously, this is not going in any sort of order. This is a Bulova Marine Star 100 meter. This one also is a chronograph. This one's a little bit on the bigger side, but you know, it's not terribly a whole lot bigger than this one. You know, the case is a little bit thicker, not too bad. On my wrist, it's just on the big side. However, that being said, it is a very, very nice looking watch. Again, this one here is the same as the Seiko. It's a chronograph, so you hit the top button to start it. The only difference with this one is that the Seiko has a faster movement, so you get much more ticks, like a smoother motion. This one here is a little bit less of a refined quartz movement, so you get the seconds ticking over. However, it does the same thing. So you got the seconds. The second hand keeps track of the seconds, and then you have a minute dial over here that keeps track of the minutes, goes up to 60 minutes. This one here has a 24-hour dial also, in addition to the typical seconds. So your second hand for the watch itself is down here on the bottom one. How about we keep this in the picture? And then you have your date right here, and you got a 24-hour, kind of like the sun and moon on the Orient Sun and Moon. As the clock on the wall tick. As the clock on the wall dings and totally interrupts my video. This one here, it's got the date. It's got a 24-hour. Only instead of being, you know, a sun and a moon, it's just the little hand points toward, you know, 1 through 24. Or, yeah, 1 through 24. And you know, that's what it is. Now this one is kind of the same. The chronograph has been running. You can stop it and restart it, right? But this one doesn't keep this. If you stop it, it actually pauses on this one. This one doesn't have, you know, it doesn't actually keep track of the time while it's paused. But then you can stop it and reset it. So it's basically the same function. You know, you start it, then you stop it, you can restart it and stop it and then reset. So there you have it. This is the last watch in my collection. This one is pretty nice. I think this is actually the only watch right now that I have in my collection that is not on the strap that it came with. This one came with a really super thick silicone strap, which it's a dive watch, I get that, but this watch, it looks a little bit more fancy, and so I got this nice leather strap with blue stitching just to kind of match the watch face. So let's just go ahead, throw this on the pillow, and actually, oh, heck with it. I don't have a watch on my wrist right now, so let's just go ahead and put the Bulova on, and I'll just finish the day wearing the Bulova. This one also has lume on it. The lume is on the second, the second hand for the chronograph, and it's on the minute and hour. And it actually glows kind of a bluish color. You know, the Seiko lume here is very much your typical greenish hue. The lume on this guy, it's very much a blue color, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I'd never seen lume that was, you know, anything other than the typical, you know, glow-in-the-dark green. This one is kind of a bluish color, which is interesting. Not quite as intense. Doesn't last quite as long as Seiko, but I don't really, you know, subtract that from the watch at all. This is a very nice watch, and I am totally happy to have this one. So anyway, that's the state of the collection. Let my pipe go out. And I also just realized that I forgot to show you the Sun and Moon and the Bulova on Amazon, so we'll just go ahead and do that real quick. So here's the Sun and Moon. This is the exact watch that I ordered. It's going for about $216 right now. I think this is pretty close to what I paid for mine. Probably close to a year ago now. And then the Bulova right here. This is the exact same one that I've got. You can see the chunky strap that it's got on it. I mean, it's a nice strap for a dive watch. That's exactly what I would expect. However, this is kind of a fancier upscale I don't know. It's only 100 meters. You're not going to dive in it. It doesn't have screw down crowns or anything like that. So, you know, the silicone strap is more of just a homage, I guess, to a real dive watch more than anything. So that's why I opted to get a different one. That, and it is really chunky. It is very thick. So anyway, now that all that is out of the way, we're lighting up. We're going to light up the Frankenpipe. Finish off the Cornell and Deal Gentleman Collar with Deer Tongue. Now with Deer Tongue! And we're going to probably have a cup of coffee and finish out the evening. So until next time, whenever that happens to be right here in the joint, it's been nice to have you with me. I hope you come back around again soon. Oh, by the way, if you made it this far in the video, congratulations. If you are a pipe smoker and you happen to be passing through Denver and you'd like to maybe get together, have a smoke, maybe make a video, I don't know, I would be totally down for that. Hit me up. We'll see what we can do. I think that it would be totally awesome. You know, the videos that I've done with my brother have been just super fun, and I think that it would be cool to, you know, just get to know the community a little bit, and I don't know, Just throwing that out there. Till next time right here in the joint, we will see you guys later.